summary sentence for me that comes on, let me see, page 103, giving ongoing handouts and an evangelistic message to able-bodied people, and you clarify, able-bodied people is a terribly common case of when helping hurts.
It's the biggest problem we have. So in When Helping Hurts, we make a distinction between relief and rehabilitation and development. These are three different approaches to helping the poor, and each of them has a role in certain settings. So relief is a handout.
Right.
This isn't the point of the parable of the Good Samaritan, but the Good Samaritan applied relief appropriately. The dude's lying there on the side of the road bleeding to death. He can't help himself. And so the Good Samaritan gives him stuff. That's completely appropriate when there's a crisis and the person is incapable of contributing to their own improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But once the bleeding is stopped, we should ask people to participate in their own recovery process, not because we're uptight, stingy Republicans, although we might be, but it's not because of that. It's because we want to restore them to image bearing. And to be an image bearer is to steward our gifts, use our gifts, to develop those gifts to help rule over God's creation. And so we ask people in rehabilitation to start to contribute. So maybe the dude with the Good Samaritan story doesn't tell us the rest of the story, but once the guy is kind of starting to recover and he's starting to maybe do some physical therapy, we ask him to contribute. We're not going to carry or move his legs for him. He has to contribute to his physical therapy. Why? Because you want to restore him. And then development is helping people and communities to achieve higher levels of flourishing than ever before. And here's the problem. The vast majority of poor people in the world need development, not relief. They're not in a crisis. They're in a chronic state of poverty. But they're able-bodied. They can contribute to their own improvement. And what the number one problem we have is that churches and Christian ministries apply relief in contexts where development is the right intervention. We do it over long periods of time, and it cripples people. It undermines their dignity. It undermines their capacity. There's this huge irony. There's probably one or two Republicans listening on this podcast. I'm just thinking, just guessing.
Yeah, probably.
And many of us who are more conservative politically are very critical of the federal government's welfare programs. But then we do the same things in our churches and ministries.
Absolutely.
And so we're creating all those kinds of dependencies by doing relief in contexts where development is the right intervention. And it undermines good poverty alleviation.